Thinking about selling your home but wondering how to boost its value before listing? You're not alone. The good news is, with a little planning and effort, you can increase your home's appeal and potentially maximize your return. Let's talk about some simple yet effective ways to make your home stand out in the market. If this is your first time visiting the channel, and if you want to know everything there is about the Houston market and living in Houston, Texas, then subscribe below. Be sure to tap the bell. That way you'll be among the first to know about the Houston market and living in Houston, Texas. By the way, I'm Michael Hughes. I'm a Texas real estate broker and a Texas real estate attorney of more than 20 years. And along with my wife and business partner, Carol Hughes, we help folks just like you buy and sell Houston's best real estate. Now, before we start talking about specific things that you can do to potentially increase your home's ultimate sale price, I'd like to take a quick minute to jump back and point out a few important things. First, it's important that you don't go overboard and start making huge renovations and expensive upgrades to the property before you put it on the market. In the first place, you'll never receive a dollar for dollar return on an investment that you make to the property in terms of its ultimate sale price. And in a worst case scenario, you could find that you've actually lost money by making these huge expensive upgrades that didn't add anything to the ultimate value of the home. And second, always remember that a potential buyer is going to view a property with an eye towards envisioning their life, their future, and the memories that they hope to make in that space. They want to see a blank canvas on which they can visualize themselves creating a future in that space. Neutral, light colors and small but strategic improvements are the name of the game. And finally, it's important to remember that not all upgrades will generate the same rate of return on the investment. In my experience, subtle, reasonable upgrades to things like kitchens, bathrooms, and landscaping will generate the greatest return on the seller's investment. On the other hand, things that may not be worth the effort and expense include things like swimming pools and hot tubs, elaborate outdoor kitchens and outdoor decks, converting a garage to a living space, and overly decorative and high-tech upgrades. Even upgrades to things like kitchens, bathrooms, and landscaping can be carried too far to the point that they become counterproductive. For example, creating an ultra luxurious professional chef's kitchen, or overly intricate landscaping upgrades that maybe don't match with the rest of the neighborhood homes. Well, let's talk about the first area where a few strategic upgrades can make a big difference, and that is the curb appeal. Now, what are we talking about when we say curb appeal? Well, curb appeal is the home's first impression. It is the feeling that is generated in a buyer the very first time they look at the property from the street, from the curb. That's curb appeal. If the feeling that is generated in the buyer is positive, then we say the place has good curb appeal, and that's going to make the buyer comfortable. It's going to make them curious and want to know more about the property. On the other hand, if the home is not really in great shape and it does not generate good curb appeal, then the buyer may not get that warm and fuzzy feeling about the house, and they may write it off completely and just move on. So what can you do to ensure that the home's curb appeal stops the buyer in their tracks? The look that you're going for here is what I like to describe as a crisp looking home. It looks crisp. So how can you accomplish that? Well, let's start with the lawn. Well mowed, well kept, very tidy. You want the bushes and the trees to be trimmed up and sharp looking. You want to put a layer of mulch in the flower beds, dark colored mulch, and then plant in the flower beds brightly colored plants and flowers to really stand off against that dark colored mulch. When it comes to grass, greener is always better. So you might want to look into having the grass fertilized or maybe treated so that you get that deep green, healthy color. For the house itself, take a really close look at it from the street or standing off a little bit. Are there any repair issues visible on the house? Is there any rotted wood, missing shingles, chips in the paint? Are the house numbers worn, broken, or crooked? If so, replace them. Any maintenance issues have to be repaired so that nothing like that is visible. The paint needs to be bright, vibrant, and fresh on the house and on the trim. For the front door, if your front door is wood grain, it is an excellent idea to have that front door restained and resealed. It will work wonders for the appearance. Now, back in the day before the internet, people would look for homes if they were in the market to buy, oftentimes by simply driving around in the neighborhood where they wanted to live and looking for sale signs. And then they would stop in front of the house and they would have a look at it. That's where we get the term curb appeal, right? In today's world, of course, most folks get their first impressions of a home on the internet. And that's why it is critically important to work with a real estate professional like Carol or myself who understand the importance of having high quality, high resolution, professional grade photographs and other marketing materials of the property and using those in top-notch marketing materials and campaigns so that your home is presented beautifully to as many buyers as possible. Well, having talked a little bit about the exterior of the home and the home's curb appeal, let's move to the interior and talk about things that you as the seller can do on the inside of the home to maximize its return and its potential for a sale on your terms and on your time frame. And the two biggest things, the easiest things that we'll talk about right off the bat are decluttering and depersonalizing the space. Let's talk about depersonalizing first. What are we talking about and why is this important? Remember back when we said that when a buyer looks at a home with an eye towards purchasing it, they want to see a blank canvas. And on that canvas, they will imagine themselves living in that space, their life, their family, their future, all living and, enjoying life in that space. Now, one of the biggest impediments to a buyer being able to imagine that is being reminded that other people already live in the space. And so what we say to sellers all the time is depersonalize anything that references or draws attention to the fact that you and your family are living there. Let's get rid of that for a while so that we don't interfere with the buyer's visualization process, because that is super important. We want the buyer to bond with that space. So how do we do that? First off, any photographs that have people in them, let's remove them and pack them away. In fact, now's a great time to start packing. You're selling the home. You're going to be moving. Now's a good time to start packing away some of these things. Photographs with people in them, let's pack those away. If you have photographs that just have family pets and no people, but just the pet, leave those. People love pictures of animals. But pictures of people, let's pack them away. What else can we pack away? Personalized mementos, awards, knickknacks, all kinds of things that are of a personal nature. Things that are more abstract, okay, we can leave those. But for example, trophies with your name on it, again, personalized knickknacks, all sorts of things like that. Let's pack away as much of that as we can. Now, the second thing to do with the home's interior is what we call decluttering, which is not a great name for it because in most cases your home isn't cluttered to begin with. But what we are addressing is a feeling that the buyer gets. When a person walks into a room for the very first time and they look around, the more items that they see on horizontal surfaces, the smaller that room will appear to them. Now, we try to preempt that feeling by reducing the number of items on the horizontal surfaces all throughout the house. Anytime you see a horizontal surface that has, say, 5 or 7 items on it, knock it down to 2. On kitchen countertops, remove all of the appliances and store them in the cabinets below. So blenders, food processors, coffee makers, all of that stuff. Take it off of the countertop and put it underneath. Bathrooms, all of the toiletries and products should be removed from the bathroom countertop and stored underneath in the cabinet. Let's talk about paint and paint color throughout the house. I tell people, buyers and sellers, very, very often that paint color is one of the easiest, fastest, least expensive fixes that you can make in a house. So if the color's not what you like, okay, we can probably get that remedied. But the thing that is very important to understand is how people react to color in a home. When I first started selling houses, I did not have an appreciation for just how strongly people will react to color in a home. It most of the time is a good idea to paint the home in a light neutral shade. First off, the neutral light color is going to make the room appear airy, bright, and big. And that's, of course, what you want. And then, of course, we're dealing with a neutral color that's not going to distract from the buyer being able to visualize themselves owning and living in that space. Now, if you remember back, I said earlier that improvements to kitchens and bathrooms tend to generate the highest return on investment for the seller. Focus on smaller strategic changes. You don't have to change the whole space. Take a look at things like the plumbing fixtures, the light fixtures, the cabinet hardware. If you can replace an outdated faucet with the newest, trendiest thing, then that will change the appearance of that room tremendously. Same thing with light fixtures. If it's the original light fixtures from whenever you bought the house, then maybe an upgrade of the light fixtures will change the appearance of the room and add value. Same thing with cabinet hardware. You would be surprised how much either adding cabinet hardware on cabinet doors that don't have any, or changing it to something that's more updated, more current with the fashions, will improve the appearance of a kitchen or a bathroom. Now, if you're going to do those sorts of changes, it's important that you have an eye towards consistency throughout the house. So be careful that you don't have one style of, let's say, plumbing fixture in the kitchen and another style in the bathroom that contrasts or even clashes with what's in the kitchen. So you want to have consistency throughout the house. But these small changes can add up to a big difference and can take a bathroom that's looking kind of tired and make it pop once again. So if you're wondering just how to get started in all of this process, this is where having an experienced professional real estate agent by your side can make a world of difference. Carol and I can work through all of this with you. We can prioritize what projects should go first, which ones might generate the greatest impact in the home's ultimate selling price, and then work through that process with you. If you need help with contractors or professionals to get these jobs done, we can make recommendations in your local area with reputable contractors that will get the job done for you. As dedicated full-time real estate agents, Carol and I know what buyers are looking for these days. And we also stay on top of home fashion and design trends. As we said earlier, they're cyclical. They come in and out of fashion. Well, we stay on top of that so that we can better advise you how to maximize the benefits of your home. Now remember, increasing your home's value does not mean breaking the bank. It means making smart, strategic choices to maximize your home's best features. You ready to take the next step? Well, reach out to us and let's talk about how to maximize your home's value before we get it on the market. Whether you're looking to make your move next week, next month, or even next year, Carol and I would love to help make your home selling process smooth and worry-free. So click on the link below to set up a one-on-one Zoom consultation. Or, of course, you can always give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We are never too busy to hear from you, and we are looking forward to helping you buy or sell Houston's best real estate.